Imagine this. You're a single mother, investing every dime and fiber of your being into your daughter's 9th birthday, hoping for a day she'll never forget. You depend on your family to show up, to make her feel loved. But what do you get when they leave her to search an empty yard for faces that never materialize? That's the gut-wrenching betrayal Sarah Miller experienced, and she's not going to let it go. Buckle up for a roller coaster of pain, hope, and a revenge so devious that you'll be cheering. This is The Birthday Betrayal, Part 1, and it's going to capture your heart and not release it. Hang in there, because you won't believe what Sarah does next. Sarah Miller stood in her small backyard in Raleigh, North Carolina, attaching a last pink balloon to a weathered fence post. The sun in October shone down on the scene, illuminating the yard in golden light so that it resembled something in a fairy tale. Her fingers hurt from hours of labor. She'd been up since 4 a.m., turning the little clump of grass into an enchanted fairyland for her daughter Emma's 9th birthday. The picnic table was a pink vision of loveliness, set with 9 settings, each with a matching napkin folded into a dainty crown, something Sarah had spent hours mastering after watching YouTube videos late at night. A $310 princess castle-shaped bounce house with glimmering turrets stood tall in the corner, a luxury that made her credit card cry but was well worth every dollar for Emma's happiness. On a dessert table, a Minecraft-themed cake rested like a masterpiece, its blocky design shining with 9 candles waiting to be lit. Sarah had scrimped for months, forgoing her own coffee trips, putting off car repairs, and even selling some old dresses online to pay for this day. She took a step back, removing a strand of hair from her damp forehead, and breathed softly. Perfect, though the still yard was thick with vacancy. Her mother, Diane, and sisters Lauren and Emily had said they'd be there by 11 a.m. to assist in setting up. They promised to bring Emma's cousin Ethan to bounce and play, their voices bubbling with excitement on the phone last week. "We wouldn't miss it for the world," Diane had assured her, her voice warm and believable. But the gate remained motionless, the driveway unoccupied. Sarah checked her watch, 11:45 a.m. Her gut nodded. She knew this silence all too well. Lost school plays where Emma searched the crowds for faces she knew, skipped family dinners with plates full and untouched, vows that had broken apart like autumn leaves. Her phone rested on the kitchen table, empty. No texts, no missed calls, only the ache of hope dissolving. The back door creaked open and Emma shot out, spinning in a purple dress that shone like amethyst in the light. "Mom, is it time, is it time?" she chattered, bobbing on tiptoes, her ponytail flying back and forth. Her bright blue eyes, shining with excitement, flashed over the vacant yard, seeking out the family she loved. "Where's Grandma? Where's Aunt Lauren and Aunt Emily? Is Ethan here yet? Did they notice the bounce house? It's so cool." Sarah tried to smile, her tone cheerful with a pain that tugged at her chest. "They're on their way, sweetie. Probably just running a little late." Emma's grin flickered for a split second, a shadow of doubt crossing her face, but she nodded, trusting her mom's words. "Okay, I'm gonna watch from the front window," she chirped, dashing back inside, her dress fluttering like a butterfly's wings. Sarah bit the inside of her cheek until she tasted the sharp tang of blood. She should have known better than to trust their words. Her family had a history. Last year's birthday, they arrived 2 hours late with lame excuses about traffic. At Christmas, they cut out early for a better party at a neighbor's house, leaving Emma holding an unopened gift intended for Lauren. But Sarah had hoped, for Emma's sake, that things would be different this time. The doorbell rang, and Emma's high-pitched shriek of excitement rung out through the house, her hope-filled voice full of bubble-like optimism. Sarah dashed to the front, her heart rising for an instant, only to find Emma's face collapse when she flung open the door. It was only Aunt Rachel, the only reliable relative Sarah had, who stood there with her gift covered in sparkling teal paper and a bow that must have taken years to get right. "Happy birthday, sunshine!" Rachel knelt to hug Emma tightly, her arms encircling the child like a shield. Emma hugged back but looked over Rachel's shoulder, her eyes sweeping the vacant driveway. "Is Grandma with you, or Ethan?" she asked, her voice tiny, barely above a whisper, as if she already knew the answer. Rachel's eyes locked with Sarah's over Emma's head, anger flaring in them for a moment before she relaxed her face and smiled down at Emma. "Just me today, kiddo, but look at this gift. I chose it specially for you." Emma held the gift tightly, her smile weak and unsteady. "Thanks, Aunt Rachel. Mom, can I wrap this with the other gifts?" Sarah nodded, her throat so constricted she could hardly talk. "Go on, baby. It's all set out back." As Emma entered the kitchen, her gait slower than normal, Rachel followed, shutting the door softly behind her. Her tone dropped, abrupt and to the point, like a scalpel slicing through tension. "Diane, Lauren, and Emily aren't coming, are they?" Sarah's phone buzzed in her pocket before she could answer, the vibration like a warning. She pulled it out, dread pooling in her gut, already knowing what she'd see. A text from Diane. "Don't make a big deal out of it, it's just a kid's party. We'll make it up to Emma at Christmas." Sarah's fingers tightened around her phone, the words searing into her like a brand. Just a children's party. She had worked overtime for weeks on her bookkeeping job, missed her own dental checkup, and had eaten instant noodles for supper in order to be able to pay for this day. Emma was worth a moment of magic, not another broken vow. Rachel saw the expression on Sarah's face, jaw locked, eyes glassy, and reached out to touch her arm. "This isn't fair." "Sarah, you and Emma deserve so much better than this." The bell rang a second time, rescuing Sarah from having to answer. Emma's classmates started arriving, 8 small girls in bright dresses, holding gift bags and hand-tied cards covered in sparkly stickers. Sarah's neighbor, Mrs. Clara Thompson, a gentle-eyed retiree with a warm smile, stopped by to deliver a cooler full of juice boxes and a pile of folding chairs, her eyes resting on Sarah with soft sympathy. "You've outdone yourself, dear," she said, patting Sarah's shoulder. Mr. Henry, from across the street, arrived with a tray of homemade chocolate chip cookies, his weathered face softening as he looked at the bounce house. "Emma's gonna love this," he said, his voice gruff but kind. For the following 2 hours, Sarah drifted between the party guests like a ghost, taking photos, slicing the Minecraft cake, and arbitrating the bounce house to ensure no one got injured. She put on a smile, but her heart wasn't in it. Each laugh was forced, each step weighed down. Emma, however, continued to look at the gate, her face lighting up with hope whenever it groaned open, only to fade when another friend, not her grandmother, emerged. "Mom, when are Grandma and Aunt Lauren arriving?" Emma asked what felt like the dozenth time, pulling on Sarah's sleeve as she refilled the chip bowl with barbecue-flavored crisps. Sarah smoothed her daughter's hair, the brittle smile on her face like it would shatter under the pressure of her disappointment. "I don't know, sweetie. But see all your friends having so much fun with you." Emma nodded and sprinted back to the bounce house, her purple skirt flashing in the sunlight, but the slouch in her little shoulders shouted louder than anything. Sarah's mind seethed with recollections of her family's disappointments, each a pebble in an expanding heap. The previous Christmas, she'd spent $920 on presents for all of them: Diane, Lauren, Emily, Ethan, blowing out her credit card because Diane always reminded her, family comes first. Half a year earlier, she'd sent $1,800 to Lauren to shore up her struggling boutique, money cobbled together by neglecting her own car upkeep, having her drive on bald tires. 3 months ago, she'd paid $450 for Emily's car repair after she forgot to budget for it, eating her own bills in order to maintain the peace. No repayments. No thanks, just Diane's voice ringing in her brain. Sarah's the responsible one. She's good with numbers. As if her accounting job made her a millionaire. Diane had relied on Sarah like a crutch since her dad left her when she was 19. "You're the head of the family now," she'd declared the day after he left, as if Sarah's accounting degree meant she could bankroll everyone's lives. Her phone buzzed again, pulling her from her thoughts like a jolt. A notification from Instagram. Emily had shared a picture of herself, Diane, Lauren, and Ethan at a hip downtown brunch spot, raising mimosa glasses at a table covered with fresh flowers and linen napkins. The caption, family vibes only. The timestamp, 11:30 a.m., exactly when Emma's party began. Sarah's hands shook as she gazed at the screen, her eyes blurring with a combination of anger and pain. They hadn't merely missed the party, they'd opted for cocktails and avocado toast instead of her daughter's 9th birthday. The epiphany hit like a slap, taking her breath. Emma's voice pierced the daze, tiny but distinct. "Mom, can we open presents now?" Sarah jammed her phone into her pocket, tears pricking the edges, and pasted on a smile that felt like it could shatter her face. "Let's do it, birthday girl." The girls stood clustered round the picnic table, laughing as Emma ripped open her presents, a sparkly unicorn notebook from her closest friend, Mia, colored pencils, a cuddly llama with a small bow. Emma hugged each of the friends, thanking them, her laughter ringing out but with something more melancholy in it, like music played off key. As the final gift was unwrapped, she gazed up at Sarah, tears glistening in her eyes. "Did Grandma forget my birthday?" The words cut through Sarah's heart, cold and unsparing. She opened her mouth to try to soften the blow, but nothing emerged. Rachel intervened, speaking in a warm, firm voice. "Grandma's memory gets a little foggy sometimes, kiddo," she explained, winking at Emma. "But I bet she's got a big surprise planned for you soon." Emma's expression lightened a bit, holding on to the hope, and she took off with her friends to the bounce house for a final leap before their parents came to fetch them. Rachel took Sarah's hand, her hold firm and stabilizing. "This is cruel. Sarah, they're breaking her heart and yours. You can't let this go on." Sarah nodded, her throat too constricted to talk, her eyes aching with tears she refused to release. The oppression of years of disillusion weighed upon her, but hidden beneath, something else seethed, a spark of anger, hard and cold, that felt like the beginning of something new. The kitchen seemed different, as though the walls had ceased closing in. Sarah stood at the counter, preparing Emma's lunch, peanut butter sandwich cut into triangles, apple slices in the shape of a smile, a note with a doodled heart. Small gestures to remind Emma she was enough, even if her family couldn't see it. "Mom, can we have spaghetti for dinner?" Emma hollered from the living room, her voice as bright as she played with her stuffed animals. "Yeah, kiddo," Sarah replied, her voice calmer than it had been in months. The pressure of her family's expectations wasn't suffocating her today, not after yesterday's act of defiance. By lunchtime, Sarah had placed 3 phone calls she'd meant to place years ago. The first was to a locksmith. A gruff-voiced man named Frank came at 2:15 p.m., whistling as he changed the front and back locks. The bill was $165, lower than usual emergency request from Lauren. "All set, ma'am," Frank replied, depositing 2 bright keys into her hand. "No one comes in without these." Sarah's fingers grasped them, the metal hard and cold, a guarantee of control. The second call was to her bank, locking up any joint accounts Diane still had control over from several years back. The third was to her manager, verifying a second shift to get back into savings. Emma slept on the couch, holding on to her stuffed bunny while Sarah sat at her computer, building a spreadsheet. She documented each loan her family had not reimbursed in 3 years. $800 for the rent of Lauren's boutique, $450 for Emily's car repair bill, $920 for presents, $600 for Diane's new sofa, $700 for Ethan's summer camp. The whole amount glared back at her, $24,120, enough to pay for Emma's braces, a second car, or a week at the beach she'd fantasized about since Emma was tiny. Her gut tightened, not with guilt, but with the magnitude of what she'd sacrificed for people who didn't matter. Her phone rang incessantly, messages mounting from Diane, Lauren, and Emily. She muted it after the 15th message, not wanting to allow their ire to penetrate her serenity. Instead, she wrote an email to the place where Lauren's second chance, Sweet 16, a silly blowout for a 26-year-old, who said her high school party was lame. Sarah included screenshots of texts that evidenced she never consented to be a platinum sponsor or to have her LinkedIn photo splashed on their flyer. The manager responded after 45 minutes, apologizing and assuring her that her name had been deleted right away. That night, Sarah and Emma sat around their tiny kitchen table, twirling spaghetti, tomato sauce staining Emma's chin as they watched SpongeBob on their used TV. Emma laughed at Patrick's antics, the sound of her laughter like music. This is enough, Sarah thought, her heart full. We are enough. The doorbell sounded at 8:47 p.m., stark and demanding. Behind the peephole, Sarah observed Diane between Lauren and Emily, their faces contorted with anger. Sarah Miller opened this door immediately. Diane bellowed, her voice screaming through the wood like a knife. Emma stood in the corridor, her bunny tightly clutched, her eyes wide with fear. Is it Grandma? She breathed, shaking. Sarah sat beside her, her voice steady. Yeah, honey, but they didn't ring first. It's too late for company, and that's not polite. The pounding intensified, the doorbell ringing like a shattered alarm. You can't hide forever, Lauren screamed. After everything we've done for you? Emily spat, venom dripping from her words. Sarah's phone began to flash with texts. You're betraying this family. How dare you humiliate us? What is this, daughter? Across the street, Mr. Henry emerged on his porch, arms folded, observing the scene. The Garcias next door gazed from behind their blinds, their silhouettes appearing in the faint light. Blue police lights flashed a few minutes later. Diane had summoned them, alleging a family dispute. Officer Daniels, who had coached Emma's soccer team last spring, appeared on the porch, looking professional yet compassionate. Evening, Sarah received a report of threats and theft. Mind if we speak? Diane puffed up behind him, her face aflame. She's withholding family treasures and sent a threatening payment. Sarah ushered Daniels into the house, Emma clinging to her leg, Bunny hugged against her chest. At the kitchen table, Sarah presented it all to him, the texts, the Venmo records, the $1 screenshot headed "Congrats," the spreadsheet adding up $24,020 in unpaid loans. I've supported them for years, no repayment, she explained, her voice steady but firm. I changed my locks to set boundaries. There are no heirlooms, no threats, just me saying no for the first time. Daniels went through the evidence, his eyebrows shooting up as he scrolled through the screenshots. They're accustomed to you patching things up, he said, reclining. Reversing that dynamic is hard. He went outside to talk to Diane and her sisters. Their voices became softer, their confidence dissipating as he presented the facts. Diane jabbed a finger at Sarah, muttering something cutting, before they sped away, tires screeching softly. Sarah double-checked the locks before discovering Emma sitting on her bed, legs hanging off the side. Mom, Emma murmured, her voice little more than a whisper. Am I not important enough? Is that why Grandma did not attend my birthday? The words took the wind from Sarah's chest. She knelt, holding Emma's tiny hands in hers. No, sweetheart. You're the most important thing in the world. That's why I'm keeping us safe from folks who don't care for us. Sarah pulled the comforter up to her chin, tucking Emma in. We're just two of us, she said, smiling for the first time in days, and that's enough. When Emma was asleep, her bunny snuggled in beside her, Sarah glanced at her phone. Rachel texted, "You did the right thing. They're angry, but you're in the right. More at breakfast." Another one from Mrs. Clara. The cookies on my countertop won't devour themselves. I am proud of you. A note from her colleague, Mark. Need overtime? I can trade Tuesday for Saturday. Even one from Emma's teacher. Emma's been happier this week. All okay at home? Sarah put her phone down, her chest less heavy, as if the house itself breathed a sigh. She'd been so attuned to her family's needs that she'd not paid attention to the people gathering around her. Rachel's hospitality, Clara's intelligence, Mark's consistency, neighbors who observed her struggle and rose to the challenge without being asked. The walls no longer seemed to be closing in. For the first time in years, Sarah experienced a flash of freedom, as if a door she had forgotten how to open had creaked open. Sarah's phone vibrated with a text message from Rachel while she washed dishes, the kitchen warm with the soft yellow paint that she and Emma rolled on last weekend. You dodged a bullet, Rachel's message stated. Lauren's Sweet 16 party was a train wreck. Sarah collapsed into a kitchen chair, caught between curiosity and relief. She paused, then called Rachel, her voice lowered so Emma wouldn't overhear from her bedroom. What occurred? She asked. Rachel's laughter crackled over the phone. Where do I even begin? They put Diane beside the smoke machine. Her asthma went haywire, and she coughed and made a big fuss for half the night, flailing her hand like she was on the stage. Lauren argued with the DJ about every song, and the poor man looked set to quit. When the $8,500 bill arrived, Diane's face went ghastly white. They continued looking at your bare chair as if your wallet was going to bail them out. Sarah's mouth curled up into a small, smug smile, which immediately flattened with remorse. She shouldn't be smiling over their debacle, but Rachel's words cut in. It's not bad luck when you throw a party on someone else's tab, Sarah. It's cause and effect. The following morning, Sarah was sorting files at her accounting work when a shadow was cast on her desk. She glanced up and found Diane standing there, looking dressed up for Sunday, her perfume pungent. We need to talk, Diane announced in a loud voice, earning the curious glances of Sarah's colleagues. Sarah's gut fell, but she remained calm. This isn't the place, Mom. I'm working. Diane set her purse on the desk, covering Sarah's spreadsheet. Family comes first. Sarah stood, guiding her to the break room with a light touch. 10 minutes, she whispered. Inside, Diane launched into a rehearsed speech about forgiveness and family duty, weaving in quotes from Pastor Evans's sermons. He called me after church, she said, adjusting her earrings. He's worried about our family's division. Reconciliation is God's way. Sarah gazed at her cold coffee. Did you explain to him why we're split up? The $24,820 I've paid you, or skipping Emma's birthday for brunch? Diane shrugged. Details don't count when it's family. Sarah looked at her. They do to me. That night, an envelope in Sarah's mailbox, no return address. A handwritten message inside, Emma needs her grandmother. Consider what you're doing. The following day, Lauren's husband phoned, his voice pleading. Just pay what they want, Sarah. Peace is worth it. A Thanksgiving invitation followed. Cream cardstock, gold embossing with a note. Water under the bridge if you donate $800 for the facility. Sarah put it next to Emma's school picture, her daughter's smile brighter these weeks. Once she tucked Emma in, Sarah held an old family photograph. Christmas, 8 years earlier, before her father had left. Everyone was smiling, but she recalled the argument that had ensued later about Diane's credit bill. Her phone rested next to her, Diane's number highlighted. One call could ease things over, another check to maintain the peace. But Emma's words rang out. Am I not important enough? Sarah pushed the photo into a drawer and replaced it with Emma's school photo, her bright smile more valuable than promises unkept. The next day, Sarah wrote a letter, cold and professional. It enumerated every loan, every missed event, every unkept promise with dates and figures. What $800 for Lauren's boutique, $450 for Emily's car, $920 for Christmas presents. She set boundaries for future contact with consequences. The last line was attempted 3 times. This isn't about money. It's about respect. She mailed certified copies to Diane, Lauren, Emily, and Pastor Evans, along with a letter describing the manipulation he'd inadvertently enabled. 2 days afterward, an envelope was delivered to Emma from her friend Mia, who hadn't been able to attend the party. It contained a sparkly card with $3 in folded bills and a note for ice cream. I'm saving for a bike, but it's for you. Emma handled the card as if it were treasure. Mom, can we get ice cream tomorrow? Sarah smiled. You bet. Emma put the card on the fridge and nudged it into place until it was just right. This is the best card ever, she exclaimed, running off to her room. $3 from a kid meant more than her family's empty promises. That night, Diane phoned. You need to fix this, she said, no greeting. Lauren and Emily are fighting nonstop since your letter. Lauren says Emily pushed too hard with the party. Emily says Diane promised you'd pay. They're blaming each other for losing you. Sarah closed her eyes, the familiar pressure building. For a moment, she considered stepping in, as always. Then she glimpsed Emma beyond her bedroom door, setting up stuffed animals for a tea party. I'm not responsible for mending their relationships, Sarah said. But you're the practical one, Diane urged. Right, Sarah said. That's why I'm making different choices now. 2 months later, Sarah stood on a ladder, applying soft yellow paint to the living room walls. Mom, you painted over the spot, Emma called out, nudging a spot toward the ceiling, her purple top dabbed with paint. Sarah reached to cover it, giggling. Got it, Eagle Eyes, Mark peered in, bringing a hand-built bookshelf. Special delivery! Where would you like it? By the window, Sarah replied, climbing down. You didn't have to make it. Mark shrugged. What am I doing with my weekends again? His laugh filled the house, a noise that once would have made Sarah brace for Diane's disapproval. Now she smiled. Emma sorted her books by hue, chatting about school. Mrs. Clara phoned, volunteering to instruct Emma in knitting. She says I'm a natural, Emma reported, her eyes sparkling. Sarah pushed a paint-stained lock of hair behind Emma's ear, leaving a smudge of yellow. Sorry, Emma laughed, wiping paint on Sarah's nose. Now we match. Weeks on, Emma showed a project at school, My Hero. 2 stick figures, hands clasped under a crayon sunset, captioned, My mom taught me love doesn't hurt. Sarah's throat constricted at the teacher's message. Emma's more self-assured recently. Good for her. She tacked the message to the fridge next to Mia's card. Christmas arrived with a card from Diane. A $50 bill for Emma, no strings attached. She deposited it into Emma's savings account, a tentative move toward trust. Her own diary, the one Rachel had given her, full of new truths. Family is who shows up. As Emma's 10th birthday approached, Sarah organized a picnic in the park. Homemade cake, friends who would show up on time. A new photograph was mounted on the wall. Sarah and Emma, with Rachel, Clara, Mark, and Uncle Paul, who had sent postcards since reconnecting. The home was like home, constructed upon love that caused no pain. Wow, what a ride. Sarah's $1 Venmo shocked the world, showing you can be loud without yelling. Did her fearless act make you shout with cheers? Or would you have done even more? Leave your thoughts in the comments. Your tale could inspire our next clip. Smash that like button if you're Team Sarah and Emma, subscribe for more epic tales of justice, and share this with someone who needs a dose of courage. Undefined. Hit the bell so you never miss a story, and let's keep this vibe alive. Undefined family isn't just blood. It's the people who show up when it counts. Set boundaries to protect your heart and those you love most.